my Necro tank, right? So basically I took Zynode's Malcolm build and I quote unquote improved upon it. Um, so starting with my tank, I am double sword and board. I'm double sword and board because it's what I need to do. So my normal main hand set right here is the War Machine. Okay, get the Minor Slayer and all that stuff. That buff. I'm probably not wearing the necklace. Yeah, I am. I'm just not on that. So the big thing is with this tank is you are all about pumping out damage or making your damage dealers just fucking pump out damage. Yeah, I'm sorry for swearing. It's going to happen quite a bit. You pump out damage for the damage dealers, and you also provide group buffs, synergies, and a great deal of mitigation for yourself as well at the same time. Like, I have a shit ton of stamina here because of the set that I run right here. My offhand set is going to be Veda Shrans. Now, the reason why I do that is it's just the Call of the Void right there. Puts on that sexy major maim every 13 seconds for 10 seconds. It pulls in a bunch of targets. However, when you do pull in those targets, it's not like chains where they're going to kind of sit there. They're just immediately going to take off. So I'll talk you through that a little bit in a second, how that works. I do have the perfected one. I just haven't bothered to gold out or make the one-hander. But the big enchant you run right here, or the trait, you run decisive. It's 25% chance to gain an extra ulti. It's kind of huge. I also run crushing on both of mine. I know it's not as good if I were to double bar it and actually put an infused enchant on there, but 810 for 5 seconds helps increase the damage. And we got our Bloodspawn head. I try and enchanted everything because I wanted all the stats. So I didn't bother with like, oh, I'm going to do like 1 health enchant here. I said, fuck it, I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to make my tank awesome. I'm going to do try enchants. So you got the stam recovery, which while you're blocking is null and void. But what you get is that 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate. Like, I'll show you the physical resistances and stuff in a second. That physical resistance is pointless. That is 100% to try and get that 6% chance to get some ulti. Bread and butter of this tank is this armor set right here. Maximum health, a little bit of armor, more maximum health. Whenever you drink a potion, you and 3 group members gain 44 ultimate. This can occur every 30 seconds. As we go through the gear here in a little bit, I've put blocking, I've put sturdy on all my armor pieces and on my shields. So I got that reduced block cost. I'm just going through it. Just try stat and chance because I said fuck it, I'm going to do it. Now, my War Machine necklace is in Triune. So you have your War Machine neck and stuff like that. The other set I run, because this is purely for the Major Slayer buff from War Machine. Like, you can get 50 seconds of Major Slayer and fucking drop it. With the ulti that we normally run, your group will probably have about 5 to 10 seconds of downtime on Major Slayer, depending on how many monsters you're fighting. If you're fighting a whole bunch, uptime's a little bit low. The downtime's a little bit lower. So, just depends. Every 10 ultimate gets you 1 second. Now, you do have the option to run automated defense, like if you're ever stuck by yourself. I've been playing with it more and more. This set hasn't been as good as I'd hope it'd be. It's unfortunately not as good as I'd hope it'd be. To get up to the 55% overall damage reduction is almost not worth it. All the jewelry has the acceleration, the alchemical acceleration enchant, which reduces your potions by 5 seconds. So basically, every time you pop a potion, you gain 44 ultimate. Or more, depending, how your decisive trait works. But if you're getting a healer run a Rojo or something like that, or there's other sources of Major Slayer in the group and you don't have to run it, Drake's Rush. This right here doesn't seem like a lot, but I can go from 0 ultimate to Necro Res ultimate in a very short amount of time. Like 30 seconds. Like I'm literally gaining like 10 ultimate a second. I don't know. My math sucks. I think it's about 10 ultimate a second. Because you're just generating ulti like crazy. Let's see. Blood Spawn, went over that. Call the Void. Alright. Let's look at our character real quick. I have yet to purple or gold out my War Machine shield, which is still surprising me. So right now I'm without major resolve. I'm at 26,000, almost 27,000 spell and physical resistance right there. Spell critical, all that shit. And let's go look at our advanced stats here. Bash cost about 1889. Break free cost is still pretty big. Still working on that. Bash damage, not super important. Block movement speed, not super important. Sprint speed, it can be important. I mean, if you're trying to get from point A to point B to go taunt something or get into position, like you're running around with Zamaja, like sprint speed can make a difference. And I'll eventually be building out into that. My block cost is 726. And the biggest thing to remember when you're blocking, especially with multiple targets, doesn't matter how hard that target hits you. It could be one of those like weak little enemies that come up and they hit you and it does like 1 damage. Still going to cost 726 stamina to block that. So just be aware that like blocking multiple targets at once will chew through your stamina like crazy. That's why fights like your Longcrin, that off tank, their stamina, like you gotta make sure you're trying to weave in your heavy swing to get your stamina back. And those are all my fire resistances, all that bullshit. Okay. No member, blah. Alright. I mean, unbuffed health. Like, I run 54 in my health and then 10 in my stamina, 0 in magicka. I want the more stamina so that every time I pop a synergy or something, I get more stamina back. And it's the big part. Health is also kind of important. I mean, that's me unbuffed. So let's see. Eating the tri-stat food. I use crown food or longfin pasty. I just have a whole bunch of longfin pasty. So yeah, I'm at 42,000 health. Seems to be plenty. Max stamina right now is 2,500. 1,900 magicka. It's not terrible. Let's see. Skills. So when we go over skills, I'm going to start with my back bar because that's here. Reverberating Bash. In order to get the Vedastrian Sword and Shield to work, you have to have a Power Bash. I chose a Reverberating Bash because it has a stun. The other version does more damage when after you block, you get more damage. You're a fucking tank. You have to control the targets. So when you get a whole bunch of monsters, you use your Power Bash and it sucks them all in. Beckoning Armor, this is where your major resolve is. You can run Summoner's Armor to make it cheaper to summon your Spirit Mender. However, I like Beckoning Armor because I can throw my range taunt right here in a rage. Not only does it give a synergy if they're far enough away, but it does more damage. But it allows this to really start to shine. Like I'll taunt something, boom, pulls it in. And then every 3 seconds that'll happen. That's what makes wrangling the frost or fire atros during your Longcrin a whole lot easier. This guy, Agony Totem. Now if you're not a Necro tank, you can get Turn Evil. It's the Blessing and Protection morph in the Fighters Guild skill line. That takes stamina. This takes magicka. So it's a little bit easier when we're blocking. And then after 2 seconds, the totem begins to fear every 2 seconds in place for 4. So you can throw that in a choke point. Like in Vaults of Madness, we were doing that the other night. I just throw it on the choke point on the stairs. The little monsters would run into it and they'd just be like, oh, feared. But this also has a synergy to it. The Pure Agony adds minor vulnerability. So if you don't have minor vulnerability in your group, boom, there's AoE minor vulnerability. It also does extra magic damage over 5 seconds. So, I mean, that's based off of tank damage, but so like an actual damage dealer, they're going to get a wicked powerful AoE dot for 5 seconds, granted, but it's fucking awesome. And then Spirit Guardian right here. So, the healing only heals 2,500. Sometimes that can be make it or break it. It just sits there for about 16 seconds, and summons it, you know. But while he's active, he reduces the damage you take by 10%. So he'll die and stuff, and that's okay. It's okay if your Spirit Mender dies. He creates a corpse. That's what Beckoning Armor also does too, is it creates a corpse. This right here, at 335 ultimate for most classes, is hard to get to in a short amount of time. We're a Necro tank. We can get to this pretty quickly. You choose the reviving animation one because it restores 530 magicka and stamina for each ally you attempt to resurrect. So up to 3 allies, you get a lot of resources back. If they die close together, super easy to throw this AoE out. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. But I've been able to place it in the middle of people spread out in like a scale collar or something like that, and resurrect all 3 of them. Like, just like, I hope this hits you, and then it accidentally got it got all 3. I don't know how that happened. Then we're looking at our main bar. This is normally where we sit. This is where the war machine is going to take place, right? So this is the ultimate that you run over Warhorn. So this does a couple things. You unleash a fucking wicked awesome monster, right? You actually hit pretty hard. Like most tanks, when you're out solo in the world, like it sucks to kill like regular things. It doesn't suck to kill regular things as a Necro tank. It still takes a while, but you get this guy to pop and you're fucking golden. And then, let's see, so you pop this guy at 225 ultimate, so that's 22 seconds of Major Slayer. You wait a little bit, you wait, to 250, you get 25 seconds. It's however you want to do it. Usually when this ulti's up, you just fucking drop it. This applies major vulnerability to each enemy hit, and it's just got to hit them once. So if they, get hit once, out of the 3 or 4 seconds that it gets hit for, you still get that major vulnerability on them. That's 10% extra damage. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's better than Warhorn because this is flat damage. It's going to affect dots, stuff that doesn't crit. Warhorn basically just does extra crit damage and boosts stats a little bit. This is way better because it also stuns enemies for 4 seconds. Say shit gets crazy, right? And it's out of totem range. You can throw this down, you can stun stuff for 4 seconds, keep your group alive. Heroic Slash. Now, this does a couple things. It applies minor maim. So you already got the major maim, which is reducing the target damage by 10%. You have the Spirit Guardian, which is reducing reducing damage by 10%, and you have your Agony Totem, which is another 10%. So you're at what? Just on your back bar alone, you have 25% damage reduction. Here's another 5 on top of that. So you're at 30% damage reduction consistently, which makes it really hard to take you down. It also gives you minor heroism. So that's 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. So every 3 seconds you gain 2 ultimate, or maybe if you're lucky you'll gain 2 ultimate every 1.5 seconds every 4th one. This keeps you going crazy. Now I use a lot more stamina skills than most tanks, and stamina should be an issue, but for the most part it's not, depending on how many synergies you get. But normally running these 3 stamina skills: Reverberating Bash, Heroic Slash, and Pierce Armor, which increases group damage because you're reducing all that spell resistance and stuff. But the reason why Necro tanks generate so much ultimate is right here. It's a small heal, but it gains you 6 ultimate per corpse. So if your group dies, you can run around and collect their souls and get some ulti back to do a Necro res. This is the selfishest skill you have. It also reduces damage taken by 3%. So you take 33% less damage while you're on your front bar, if you have all your buffs up. Then you have Pierce Armor, which is another taunt. Does a physical and spell resist. Unnerving Boneyard. This right here, it'll consume a corpse, so that's why I tend to use Necropotency, and then use Unnerving Boneyard on top. Because it doesn't matter if you do more 50% more damage. This does major breach to everything in the area, which if you're, say, tanking in VAA, you can throw this on the boss, right? So they get at least the major penetration. If something's far away, you can throw it on there. You have a group of monsters and you're just too lazy to tank it all. Just throw it on there. It's fine. Now, here's another thing about this is Grave Robber. This AoE right here, when picked up by a DPS and they use it, and they use this synergy, this is a pure DPS synergy. This can get anywhere between 30 and 40k, maybe even 50k crits, depending on what buffs that DPS has going on right there. That right there is a huge DPS increase. So keep that down. That is for your DPS to pop. Now, it's not as good as Dragon's Blood if there's only one target. However, our oh shit, fuck me, I'm going to die heal button right here, Hungry Scythe, with one target, you got to spam it a couple times. With multiple targets, you guys just got to hit that thing once and boom, full health. I use the Hungry Scythe over the Ravenous Scythe because it takes Magicka. I'm already using three skills that are using stamina, and on a tank, that is rough. So, like, if we go over the skills here, you can use Skeletal Arcanist if you want. Like, I use it when I'm tanking Hoff and I'm main tanking the boss, because I might as well get another corpse. That's all. Because it's a pain in the ass to kind of turn, throw your Unnerving Boneyard up against, up for the DPS. Fuck them. That's why. Going over these skills, this just reduces the cost of your Skeletal Mage and Spirit Mender. Critical strike damage, not super important. The spell penetration, physical penetration, not super important. Increase your damage done with overtime effect. It's not super important. Bone Tyrant. Oh, another ulti. Say you're in an oh shit moment. End of VDSA or by yourself tanking your Lankrin. You're not really going to be throwing your Colossus for the group. You are either by yourself and you need to stay alive. This is where you become a Bone Goliath. This keeps you alive. This allows you to get resources back because it's really hard for you to die in this mode. Because you are constantly adding health. You have another 30,000 health on top of that. So, 70k health. For those 20 seconds, you are going to be hard to take down. Like, if you're having issues and struggling keeping alive, slot this bad boy. That's right, we're going over this. Where you get the Angry Totem, all that shit. Alright, Death Gleaming. This is a great skill. Whenever an enemy dies within 28 meters, you gain 200 Magicka and Stamina. Just helps the resources a little bit. Reduces attack from damage over time while you have a Bone Tyrant ability active. Guess what? You got this guy and this guy active. Oh look, you can have Hungry Scythe active as well. So you can take 15% less dot damage over time, which helps out. This increases your healing received for each bone type ability slotted. So, back bar and stuff, they're there. And max health by 1250. Not that big of a deal. That's where you get your fun stuff. When you have a negative effect on you, healing done increased by 8%. I mean, not super critical as a Necro tank. It's just a nice little, like, garnish on top of it. Living Beth ability slotted, chance to increase 20% is okay. I mean, it'll help your crit heals, like, if you're dying, but it's not super. This is where another thing is, like, 10 ultimate every 16 seconds when you use an ability on a corpse. That's when you suck up a corpse every 16 seconds, you're going to gain an additional 10 ultimate. And you got this guy, which helps increase your magicka and stamina recovery. However, it's the magicka recovery that you're after. Like, and you got your one-handed shield, I mean, Destro staff, lame. I mean, you just max out heavy armor. Because I run full heavy armor. I'm not going to play with any of that. Soul magic. If you're struggling with resources and you're killing a lot of things, you can morph Soul Trap into Consuming Trap. And that'll give you back resources as well. I would highly recommend picking up Silver Leash if you're struggling using Beckoning Armor, because that would be your chains. Now you just kind of pick up these, like this guy right here. Yes, it kind of got nerfed, but then it works for everything now. So I dig it. You definitely want Banish the Wicked. You pick up Intimidating Presence to make Silver Leash cheaper. Let's see, you can another Mage's Guild. Mage's Guild worthless. You got your Undaunted passives and all that stuff. I mean, you could run Warhorn, but you have fucking Colossus, which is way better. Let's see here. All this garbage. Yeah, that's just garbage. Munda Stone, I run on my tank. Atronach. Because you need that magicka recovery. So one of the big things, like, I'm gonna go throw it so you can see it. So this is what the Necro res looks like. So you do, boom. That's a big area to res people out of. You're looking at how awesome the Colossus is. I know it is. So we got 500 ultimate. We got our War Machine on. Huh. I guess it's the range. Should have War Machine on. Or did I accidentally take it off? Hold on. Must have to be in combat. That's weird. I guess you gotta be in combat to get that full buff. Oh well. That's what it looks like. I mean, I could poke my dummy if I wanted to. I'm not going to. That's basically it. Oh, so when you use your power bash, right? What I like to do, quickly power bash something, and then follow it up with Hungry Scythe. All that Hungry Scythe does is it kind of gets their attention for a second, so you can kind of control it by adding in those extra taunts and stuff like that. That's right. 3K DPS tank. So let's see if we can get this to work. So normally, like fighting a monster, right? And we'll get in front of it, because that's where you stand as a tank. Starting off on this bar, you go in, stab, get slash, pop that, do a little Agni Totem, get your buffs up, bring your skeleton out, stab there, drop your Colossus, get your group to make your Slayer, just kind of work your way through, keeping all your buffs and everything ticking. And then you got your trash stand pots. Those are your go-tos for most content, which helps keep your stamina up. You get your synergies, You're just working right there, keeping all your stuff going. I did that way too early on that power bash right there, as you can see. Heavy swing if you need to. Get that power bash in, that little line, that little web that shoots out. That's what's going to cause the major maim. So just right here, stab, duck up some ulti, drink a potion. Oh look. Yeah, you can get some light attacks in there. I know I got my ultimate set up, so I want to set myself up ready to go. Suck up a little bit more. Boom. This is how you roll. Alright, if you got any questions, don't feel afraid to shoot them my way.